And welcome back once again to the Renegade Report. I'm Greg Kerr. By the way, if you just saw the first segment with Sandy Taylor and Brett Clark, Sandy has clarified during the break that she never stole second base. So just wanted to make that clear. All right, we are joined now by BC football coach Jeff Chudy. And summarize.
Well, we knew going into this opener that we were going to play a quality football team that I think I said before they were going to have the best talent that we will play against all year, and it was going to be a test to see where we're at. And obviously, we've got to get a lot better. I think as the game went on, early on, we started off and played great defense and couldn't get out of a hole from a field position standpoint, and they got a kick return that had illegal block in it, but it doesn't do us any good now. We sent all that stuff off to our main official, who's not in New York but down in Norwalk, and he looks at everything and doesn't make it any better. But that was a huge momentum thing for them because they had lost their swagger, so to speak, and so it was that one play, 48-point difference. No. But it certainly had an impact on the emotion of the game. And, football is a game of emotion. So,
right.
And then Curtis going down, that didn't help matters. And, we just made too many mistakes from a between the ears standpoint, where too many third downs on defense that they converted. We had them backed up 3rd and 17 in the first half on their own 10, and we give up a route combination that we should never give up. We practice it all the time. Just we got a little too wide in our drop, and the guy threw it inside of us. Early on in the third quarter, I think it was, we had a 3rd and 5 and played a particular defense, and we lined up too tight, not deep enough. And, the thing that we always say to the safeties is you can never be too wide and too deep on that particular coverage. And the one play that we have to play is a fade. They check to a fade. And we couldn't get there because the alignment and the depth was not right. So, it's a multitude of things. It's not any one person. I think, the biggest thing is that our guys are starting to believe that the little things that we do during the course of a week magnify in when you're playing a quality opponent and when you're playing this game of football, because there's so many moving parts. So, definitely I hope our guys have learned from it. I think they have. I think they've approach this week with a little bit more sense of purpose, and their attention for detail seems to be a lot better. Just going off of practice from last night, we were a half an hour earlier because the week prior we had so many mental mistakes in the kicking game that it was ridiculous, and it was they were mistakes that were being made that were not physical mistakes.
Right.
It was just between the ears and a lack of effort. So, having said all that, we've got to get ready to play a quality team in Golden West. And football, you can't dwell on what happened last Saturday. You got one coming up.
Right.
We don't have it's not like we're in a 3-game series here. So there is no Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. We got one Saturday game, and that's the thing. 10% of our season's already done. And I think our guys understand there's a sense of urgency with what's going on. So Golden West, good football team, made it to the playoffs last year, one of 4 teams that went out of 37 that made it to the playoffs. And so they're 1-0, and they figured out how to outscore the other guy right now, and we haven't done that.
All right, well, we're going to take a look at some stuff. Chris, let's show this special teams play you talked about, the first score, which
First
again,
punt,
momentum and things. Here it is right here. First of all, you're kicking out of your own end zone.
There's a block in the back right in the middle of the field about 10 yards from where he's at. You can see our guy, the guy go flying over the top of him, and we missed a tackle here right there. He was right on the
missed a few there, and didn't have containment on the one side either. And here it is, slow-mo it. But
you'll see a Riverside guy flying down the middle of the field right about there, and he's the guy that hit our guy in the back. But it happens. Just we didn't cover the kick very well. We had a chance to make a play right there, and trust me, we've done some tackling drills with our specialists, their snappers, and our punters, kickers. So that was a huge momentum thing. We had forced 3 punts in a row. They had forced 3 punts in a row, and we had, unfortunately, we'd been backed up.
Right.
Never really got out of our own
Never
end
really
zone.
flipped the field at all.
I
Made-
never got
made
the
him
field
drive.
position flipped.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
The kicking game, usually if something goes good for you in the kicking game, that's a momentum changer. And they had, quite frankly, their swagger had been toned down quite a bit up until that point. So
Yeah.
they got it back, and I think the next series we stopped them again on defense, and then it started to go south.
Well,
fast.
I'm looking over here at the stats. This guy completed only 14 passes, but for over 300 yards.
Oh, we
which
got
tell
big-
you that you got some chunky plays.
No, we got big plays.
Yeah, and here comes one right here. We're going to show you one early on in the game right here. A little play action and
Yeah, you know what? This is a play action. They ran a post. We were in what we call quarters coverage, and our corner was locked up with their outside receiver. And the unfortunate thing is that we had great position on the play. Playing corner is really tough. It is not an easy position to play, and it's like, when we talk about things in our chalk talk rooms, and I tell our guys, you signed up for playing a position that you're on an island, and you got to have great technique. And the ball was probably a 55-yard pass, and we were in great position at 35 yards into the route, and unfortunately we looked back for the ball, and we shouldn't have. We were not in a position to look back for the ball, but we were in great position to make a play on the ball. And in that position that we were in, we should have been playing his hands, and we didn't do that. We looked back for the ball, and we lost our leverage point. And it's just minute details like that.
Right.
That's a difference between looking back for the ball and losing your leverage point.
Mm-hmm.
That play would have been probably knocked down, an incomplete pass, because he caught the ball by his hip, down by his belt buckle. And, like I told our guys, it's a learning experience. There's a learning moment for you. That play right there, that kid that caught the ball was a bounce back from a Division I school. It was a long pass, and it's one-on-one coverage. And I said, there's an opportunity to get recruited off of one play as a corner. Mm-hmm. But guess what? You ain't going to get recruited off that play because you didn't finish the play. Everything was right till how we finished it. Mm-hmm. And those are the small details when you play a really, really good football team that has talent, and their quarterback was on fire. And that was numerous times, I think, when you saw these big play chunks of big yardage coming up against us. Because we did a great job, I thought, stopping the run. And I was concerned with the size of those guys. We got young linebackers inside, and they're freshmen, and they're learning a lot. And they got a lot to think about. And these guys threw the kitchen sink at us. We saw every kind of formation you could possibly see.
Right. Well, let's show this. The touchdown after the long pass, there's a touchdown. We'll show that real brief if you could. And then
we got him into third down. I mean, we stopped them 2 plays. Mm-hmm. We actually sacked him on one of the plays, so it was about a third. And we went first play sack, second play they ran quarterback draw. Third play we get him, it's 3rd and 10, in the red zone. And we just, we got hung up with the inside receiver, just ran an option route. And we shouldn't get hung up with the inside receiver. We're down there, our guys don't need, our safeties don't need help redirecting receivers. And again, it's a small attention for detail. It was a lack of awareness we're at in the field, and we're in red zone coverage, and we should have slid a little wider sooner, and we would not have let that option route occur. So again, a mental mistake that we just. Not a lack of awareness where we're at on the field.
Okay, now before we get to, and Chris, hold off on the video for a second because we're going to go on the other side of the break on that. But a loss like this, Jeff, 51-3, certainly, obviously not what you wanted. But at the same time, what maybe makes you lose more sleep? Is it a butt kicking, or is it a close loss where you go woulda, coulda, shoulda?
Well, I think really what the bottom line is, it's how you respond. Whether it's a 1-point loss or a big butt kicking. And we haven't had too many butt kickings around here.
No, yeah.
But they're opportunities to learn. They're teaching experiences. That for each one of these guys, it's an opportunity to teach somebody what we're expecting. And I go back to the small attention for detail points. Those little things magnify when you play somebody that has a ton of talent, and that's what I told our team. We played a team that has a tremendous amount of talent, and they executed at a high level, and we didn't execute at a high level. We lost our focus and lost our way between the years at times, and we paid the price for it. So, if there's ever a learning experience from something. It's a teachable moment without a doubt,
Yeah.
and so we
Well, this
move
doesn't
on.
wake them up. Nothing will, right?
Well, we move on. You
Yeah.
got the next guy.
Sure.
You don't have time to dwell on it,
Yeah.
and that's why we watch the film right after we play the game, and we put it in the past, and we're on to bigger and better things, in Golden West.
When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk about the McGregor injury and show it. But before we get to that, we've talked about the 51. Let's talk about the 3. Offensively, what in about a minute or so, can you just tell me your thoughts on your offense?
I think Curtis was certainly a guy is a locker room guy, leadership guy, and when he went out, that was a problem for us. Mm-hmm. Just from a leadership standpoint, we're playing with a lot of young guys. I thought their defensive line will be as good a defensive line that we played against. I think they rotated about 6 guys, and I thought their secondary was tremendous. Their linebackers were okay. But if you go and look at it, we had many third down opportunities where we didn't execute, whether it was a drop ball or a missed communication. You can't do that. You got to keep moving the chains. You got to stay on the field. And it was, again, I think we had 40 mental mistakes on offense, from alignment errors to assignment errors, 40 mental mistakes. And you go back again, we had them in 3rd and 1 or 2, and we ran a freeze count, and they had jumped offside, but we didn't snap the ball, and it's just little things like that quantify when you play a quality opponent. And we could never, give our defense enough time to at least take a breath early on. And I thought, giving up the big plays early on in the punt return, we played really well defensively. It sounds funny to say that,
right?
In the first half, and then we just kind of lost our way in the second half. It just kind of was like an avalanche. But I think offensively, we were never able to get it going with any consistency. Too many mental mistakes, too many alignment errors, too many mental errors, and again, those things become obvious to everyone when you play somebody that's going to take advantage of those things.
Right. All right.
So our execution was at way below level, and so I think people scoff when you give out grades. Mm-hmm. And I got a few emails saying that's how defeating I am as a instructor, mm-hmm. because we're all teachers in this thing.
Yeah.
But at the bottom line, we had been practicing and playing at a C level, mm-hmm. and when you play against a quality team and you're at a C level, those guys took advantage of it. So we certainly have room for improvement, and that's where we're at right now. We're going to get better.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about the McGregor injury and show everyone what happened in the game on the road against Riverside City. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more on the game itself. Look ahead to Golden West. Back in a moment.